Ladies and gentlemen, men, the way you speak to yourself determines the way you move through the world. Too often we let doubt creep in, telling ourselves we're not good enough, we're not ready, or we don't deserve success. But that negative self-talk, it's a trap. It drags you down, shackles you to fear, and stops you from stepping into your true potential. Speak life into your dreams. The first person who needs to believe in you is you. Negative self-talk is more than just casual thoughts. It is a habit that forms over time, often without us realizing it. When we constantly tell ourselves, I can't do this, or I'm not smart enough, we reinforce beliefs that shape our actions. These words act like mental barriers, limiting our ability to take risks, try new things, or even pursue opportunities that align with our potential. One of the most powerful ways to combat negative self-talk is through awareness. Pay attention to the language you use with yourself. If you find that your inner dialogue is harsh or self-defeating, make a conscious effort to replace those words with positive affirmations or neutral statements. For example, instead of saying, I'll never be able to do that, try, I am learning how to do that. This shift rewires your brain to focus on growth and possibility rather than failure. Additionally, science shows that our brains have something called neuroplasticity, meaning they can be shaped and molded by the thoughts we regularly entertain. If you continually allow negative thoughts to dominate, your brain creates pathways that reinforce that mindset. But by changing your internal dialogue, you can literally reshape your mind to adopt a more resilient and optimistic attitude. Another effective method is practicing self-compassion. Speak to yourself the way you would speak to a close friend who's struggling. Instead of harsh criticism, offer yourself patience, understanding, and encouragement. Remember, your mind is a tool. Use it to empower yourself, not to sabotage your progress. Comparing yourself to others is one of the fastest ways to lose focus on your own journey. It's easy to look at someone else's success and feel inadequate or behind, but what we often forget is that everyone's path is different. The problem with comparison is that it puts you in a race that you never signed up for, one that distracts you from your own goals and progress. Social media, for example, often shows a highlight reel of someone else's life, career, or achievements. What we don't see are the struggles, the failures, or the sacrifices they made to get where they are. When you compare your journey to their success, you're comparing your behind the scenes with their best moments, which is neither fair nor accurate. Moreover, constant comparison creates a mindset of scarcity. You start to believe that success, wealth, or happiness is limited, as if there's only so much to go around. In reality, someone else's success doesn't diminish your potential. There's room for everyone to thrive. This scarcity mindset can also lead to envy, bitterness, and frustration, which drain your energy and motivation, preventing you from focusing on your own growth. From a psychological standpoint, frequent comparison triggers low self-esteem and stress, which can affect mental health. Studies show that people who frequently compare themselves to others are more likely to feel dissatisfied with their lives. This dissatisfaction can create a cycle of negativity, making it harder to appreciate your own progress or develop a strong sense of self-worth. To break the habit of comparison, shift your focus inward. Reflect on your own achievements, no matter how small they may seem. Set personal goals that align with your values, and measure your progress based on where you started, not on where someone else is. Practice gratitude for what you have, and remind yourself that your journey is unique, and success is not a one-size-fits-all destination. By focusing on your own path, you free yourself from unnecessary competition and create space for personal growth and fulfillment. Procrastination is often seen as simply putting things off until later, but it goes much deeper than that. It's a complex behavior rooted in avoidance, fear, and sometimes even perfectionism. When we procrastinate, we avoid tasks not because we are lazy, but because those tasks bring discomfort, whether it's fear of failure, fear of success, or the sheer difficulty of the task itself. Over time, this habit can become a major obstacle to achieving our goals. Psychologically, procrastination is often a result of what is called time inconsistency. This means we tend to prioritize short-term rewards over long-term gains, even when we know the latter is more important. For example, when faced with a challenging task, our brain seeks immediate relief, leading us to choose something more enjoyable in the moment, like scrolling through social media or watching TV. This gives us a temporary feeling of comfort, But the longer we delay, the more the task grows in our minds, making it feel even more daunting. Procrastination also impacts mental health. Research shows that chronic procrastinators experience higher levels of stress, anxiety, and even depression. The looming pressure of unfinished tasks creates a cycle of guilt and frustration, which only adds to the tendency to avoid doing the work. Over time, this cycle can erode self-esteem and productivity. To overcome procrastination, it's important to break tasks into smaller, manageable parts. This concept, known as chunking, allows the brain to view the task as less overwhelming. For example, instead of thinking, "I need to finish this entire project," focus on completing just the first step, such as gathering materials or outlining the plan. Each small step completed builds momentum, making it easier to keep going. Another strategy is to use time management techniques like the Pomodoro technique, where you work in short, focused bursts, e.g., 25 minutes of work followed by a 5-minute break. This helps to train your brain to stay focused and reduces the temptation to avoid the task. Finally, cultivating a mindset of self-discipline is essential. Discipline is about doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. One way to strengthen discipline is by creating routines and holding yourself accountable through tools like checklists or deadlines. The key is to recognize that procrastination is an emotional response, and the best way to combat it is by taking action, no matter how small, to break the cycle and build momentum towards success. Surrounding yourself with the wrong people can have a profound impact on your mindset, behavior, and overall success. The people you associate with influence how you think, feel, and act, whether you realize it or not. This concept is often referred to as social influence, where the attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors of those around you shape your own. If you're surrounded by people who are negative, unmotivated, or constantly doubtful of your abilities, it becomes much harder to maintain a positive outlook or pursue your goals with confidence. Psychological research shows that we are highly influenced by the people we interact with most frequently. This is called the social proximity effect, meaning that over time, we tend to adopt the behaviors, language, and habits of those in our close social circle. For instance, if your friends or colleagues are constantly complaining, procrastinating, or making excuses, you're more likely to mirror that behavior, even subconsciously. On the other hand, when you surround yourself with driven, positive, and supportive individuals, their mindset rubs off on you, inspiring you to strive for more. It's also important to recognize the concept of emotional contagion, the idea that emotions are contagious. If you are around people who are constantly stressed, anxious, or pessimistic, their emotional state can transfer to you, affecting your own emotional well-being. This can create a toxic cycle where your own stress and negativity increase, making it harder to focus, stay motivated, and take action on your goals. Another critical aspect to consider is the influence of peer pressure, which can be both positive and negative. Negative peer pressure can lead you to engage in behaviors or make decisions that don't align with your values or goals, simply to fit in with a certain group. For example, you might downplay your ambitions or settle for less than what you're capable of, because those around you aren't pushing themselves to succeed. Over time, this can create feelings of stagnation or frustration as you realize you're not living up to your full potential. To counteract this, it's essential to intentionally seek out relationships that foster growth and positivity. Surround yourself with people who challenge you, inspire you, and encourage you to be the best version of yourself. These individuals help create an environment where success feels not only possible but inevitable. Developing emotional intelligence is also key, as it helps you recognize the impact others have on your emotional state and empowers you to make conscious choices about who you spend time with. In summary, the people you allow into your life can either lift you up or drag you down. Choosing your circle carefully, based on shared values, aspirations, and mutual support, creates a foundation for long-term success and personal fulfillment. Seeking validation from others can be a significant roadblock to personal growth and success. When you rely on external approval to define your self-worth or make decisions, you essentially give away control of your life to others. This need for validation stems from a desire for acceptance and a fear of rejection, both of which are natural human tendencies. However, constantly seeking approval from others can lead to a lack of confidence and independence in decision-making. From a psychological perspective, seeking validation is linked to external locus of control, where individuals believe that their success or failure is determined by external factors, such as other people's opinions, rather than their own actions and abilities. This mindset limits personal empowerment as it places too much importance on how others perceive you rather than focusing on your own intrinsic values and goals. Over time, this can create a dependency on praise, making it difficult to take risks or stand by your decisions when that external validation is absent. Validation seeking can also hinder creativity and authenticity. When you constantly worry about how others will perceive your actions or choices, you might conform to societal expectations or the desires of those around you, rather than pursuing what genuinely aligns with your passions or purpose. This behavior leads to a life that is driven by fear rather than inspiration, where you prioritize what is safe and acceptable over what is bold and meaningful. Additionally, research shows that people who seek excessive validation often experience higher levels of stress and anxiety. This is because the approval of others is unpredictable and inconsistent, leading to feelings of insecurity and self-doubt. Relying on external validation creates a fragile sense of self-worth, as it fluctuates based on the opinions and feedback of others, which you cannot control. This can result in a constant pursuit of perfection or people-pleasing, both of which can be mentally and emotionally draining. To break the habit of seeking validation, it's essential to develop a strong sense of self-worth that is independent of others' opinions. This involves practicing self-compassion and recognizing your inherent value, regardless of external recognition. Setting personal goals based on your own values and aspirations helps to anchor your sense of identity and purpose, allowing you to make decisions that are true to yourself, rather than influenced by external expectations. Another effective strategy is to build self-confidence through small acts of independence. Start by making decisions without consulting others or seeking approval, and trust your own judgment. Over time, these small steps will build your confidence in your ability to navigate life without the need for constant validation. It's also important to accept that not everyone will agree with or support your choices, and that's okay. Learning to tolerate disapproval is a critical part of personal growth and freedom. Ultimately, living a life where you don't depend on external validation frees you to pursue your passions, take bold actions, and align with your authentic self. Fear of failure is one of the most common barriers to success, but it's often misunderstood. Failure itself is not the problem, it's the way we perceive and react to it. Many people see failure as a reflection of their abilities or worth, when in fact failure is a natural and essential part of the learning process. When we allow fear of failure to dominate, we avoid taking risks or stepping outside our comfort zone, which limits our potential for growth and achievement. Psychologically, fear of failure is rooted in perfectionism and a fear of negative judgment. People who fear failure tend to equate making mistakes with personal inadequacy, believing that if they fail, it means they are fundamentally not good enough. This fear leads to avoidance behaviors, where individuals either procrastinate or refuse to take on challenges altogether, preferring to stay in a safe zone where they won't risk failure. However, this safety comes at the cost of missed opportunities for learning and success. One of the most effective ways to overcome fear of failure is by reframing your mindset. Instead of viewing failure as something to be feared, see it as a stepping stone toward success. Failure provides valuable feedback on what works and what doesn't. Every time you fail, you gain insight into how to improve and refine your approach. This process, known as trial and error, is how most successful people learn and grow. Innovation, for example, thrives on failure. Many breakthroughs only happen after multiple failed attempts. Thomas Edison famously failed over 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb, and he saw each failure as a lesson rather than a setback. Another important strategy is to develop resilience, the ability to bounce back from setbacks. Resilience allows you to see failure not as an endpoint, but as a temporary obstacle. By cultivating resilience, you can maintain focus and determination even after encountering challenges. Research shows that resilient individuals are more likely to view failure as a normal part of life and are less affected by negative outcomes. They develop an internal strength that pushes them to keep going, regardless of the difficulties they face. Additionally, adopting a growth mindset is crucial for overcoming fear of failure. This mindset is coined by psychologist Carol Dweck emphasizes the belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed through hard work and dedication. People with a growth mindset see challenges as opportunities to learn and grow, rather than as threats to their self-worth. They understand that failure is not a reflection of their capabilities, but a necessary part of the process of improvement. This mindset shifts the focus from avoiding failure to embracing the learning that comes from it. It's also essential to practice self-compassion in the face of failure. Instead of being harsh on yourself when things don't go as planned, treat yourself with kindness and understanding. Recognize that everyone fails at some point, and it's part of being human. Self-compassion helps to reduce the emotional impact of failure and encourages you to get back up and try again. Ultimately, fear of failure only holds you back if you let it. By changing the way you view failure, building resilience, and embracing a growth mindset, you can turn fear into a motivator for progress, allowing you to take the risks necessary for true success. Blaming others for your failures or setbacks can be a deeply disempowering habit. When you shift responsibility onto external factors, whether it's other people, circumstances, or bad luck, you rob yourself of the opportunity to learn from your mistakes and take control of your future. Blaming is a form of deflection, where instead of owning up to your role in a situation, you point the finger elsewhere. This pattern of behavior can prevent you from growing and developing the resilience needed to navigate life's challenges successfully. From a psychological perspective, blaming others is often a defense mechanism rooted in ego protection. It feels safer to deflect responsibility than to face the discomfort of admitting you were wrong or that your actions contributed to a negative outcome. However, this approach prevents self-reflection and constructive analysis. When you avoid acknowledging your mistakes, you miss out on critical lessons that could help you improve. Without this growth, the same patterns of failure or underachievement are likely to repeat themselves, creating a cycle of blame without progress. Blaming others also fosters a victim mentality, where you believe that life is happening to you rather than for you. In this mindset, you see yourself as powerless, constantly at the mercy of external forces. This perspective not only limits your ability to take action, but also diminishes your sense of agency, the belief that you can influence outcomes through your efforts. In contrast, those who take responsibility for their actions develop what psychologists call an internal locus of control. This means they believe they have control over their own destiny and that their choices and behaviors directly impact their results. This mindset is crucial for success because it empowers individuals to take proactive steps toward achieving their goals. Furthermore, blaming others can damage relationships and erode trust. When you consistently point fingers, it creates an atmosphere of defensiveness and resentment. People may begin to view you as unwilling to take accountability, which can lead to strained interactions both personally and professionally. On the flip side, owning your mistakes builds credibility and fosters mutual respect. When you take responsibility, others are more likely to respect your honesty and integrity, creating a culture of openness and collaboration. Taking responsibility doesn't mean being overly self-critical or carrying unnecessary guilt. It's about acknowledging your role in a situation, learning from it, and then taking the necessary steps to move forward. A productive way to practice this is by engaging in self-reflection after a setback. Ask yourself, what could I have done differently? What did I learn from this experience? And how can I apply this lesson in the future? This approach transforms failure into a learning opportunity and encourages continuous improvement. It's also important to cultivate problem-solving skills rather than focusing on placing blame. When something goes wrong, shift your energy from assigning fault to finding solutions. Ask yourself what steps you can take to fix the problem, prevent it from happening again, or improve the situation moving forward. This proactive approach not only helps you grow, but also demonstrates leadership qualities, as it shows that you're willing to take initiative and responsibility regardless of the outcome. Ultimately, blaming others is a short-term escape from discomfort, but it has long-term consequences for personal growth and success. Taking responsibility empowers you to learn from your mistakes, build stronger relationships, and develop the resilience necessary to achieve your goals. When you stop blaming others, you reclaim control over your life and open yourself up to endless possibilities for improvement and success. In conclusion, avoiding these detrimental behaviors, lack of purpose, ignoring discipline, surrounding yourself with the wrong people, seeking validation, fearing failure, and blaming others is crucial for personal growth and long-term success. Each of these habits undermines your ability to take control of your life, limiting your potential to reach your goals. By cultivating a sense of purpose, surrounding yourself with positive influences, embracing failure as a learning tool, and taking responsibility for your actions, you create a foundation for a successful and fulfilling life. True empowerment comes when you shift from external reliance to internal accountability, forging a path to your greatest achievements.